I'm unmuted now. I haven't done that in a little while. Last week we talked about the gap in the gain and how focusing on what's missing, where we're not, drains our peace, depresses us. But looking backwards and focusing on where we've come from helps build our gratitude, our consistency. And as high achievers, we set big goals, and we should. We want to set big goals. But if all we're looking at is that big goal, it can stress us out. And stress can be good when used the right way. When used the right way, it becomes fuel. It becomes motivation. It becomes passion. But when used the wrong way, or when stress uses us, it can destroy you. It destroys you physically, mentally, emotionally. And so today we're going to talk about a switch, how to flip that stress from something that crushes you to something that strengthens you. Appreciate y'all for being here live and in the future. If you're here live right now, what's one area of your life that you're feeling just stressed about? Is it your health? Is it the next deal that's coming in the pipeline? Is it a deadline at work? Like, drop it in the chat. For me, I think I've got late nights, right? Like last minute deals that were getting put together when we were solely focused on real estate. Now it's in my coaching, like, am I going to be able to help this person reach the breakthrough that they're wanting to get to? That goal that they've set for themselves that they've had trouble achieving for so long, and now they are looking to me for the answers. I know that I'm capable, but that still stresses me out. And stress can show up everywhere. But how we use it and how we apply it, it determines if it's going to build us or if it's going to break us. So we'll talk about a few different components here: physiology, biology, like biofeedback, what our body is telling us and how we can pay attention. So when your brain perceives stress, think of, back in the days when like we were being chased by lions. A threat was a lion. Now it is a deadline. It can even be thousands of emails in your inbox that stress you out. It could be excitement. When that stress hits, your brain perceives it as pressure, and it triggers the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, the pituitary adrenal system, HPA. And it releases adrenaline, and it releases cortisol, your stress, your action hormones. Your heart rate elevates, your breath quickens, your breath rate quickens, your glucose, your blood gets flooded with glucose because you need fuel right now. That's what's happening when we're stressed out. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. That in the moment stress, that's good. It's called eustress. EU, stress. I think that's how you say it. I've never actually heard somebody say it, so I'm just going off of what my native English tongue would call that. Eustress. Think about like an athlete before a big game. You're about to give a presentation that you've really prepped for, or you're gonna lift. You're going for a PR on your deadlift, or your squat, or whatever that is. Like, that's good stress. I'm getting pumped up for the moment. It sharpens your brain. It sharpens your body. It gets you focused. But when that stress lingers for a long period of time, deadlines that are unmet, projects that are, lingering on. Maybe it's that 10 pounds that I just cannot lose around my weight that's stressing me out. It becomes chronic, it becomes unregulated, it becomes destructive. That is bad stress. That's distress. So we have eustress, good, EU, distress. Distress is one we kind of probably all know. Man, I'm in a state of distress. When that signal never turns off, we stay in the sympathetic state. The sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. And when we stay in that chronic distress, that fight or flight for too long, we get inflammation, our immune system gets lowered. We sure as heck aren't sleeping well. There's this study that I saw that Harvard did long time ago, over 100, it's 2025, 1908. The Yerkes-Dodson's curve, the Yerkes-Dodson's law. As performance rises, performance rises as our stress goes up to a certain point, and then it plummets. It's a curve. Now, we talked about biofeedback. Like, what is our body telling us? Where we can pay attention to, I'm in distress. Morning fatigue. Your cortisol levels naturally spike in the morning. That's what wakes us up out of bed. And then they should taper down as the day goes on, hitting the lowest point when we're getting ready to sleep, our circadian rhythm. You want your cortisol to be going down. But if you have low cortisol or in the morning, that's going to lead to morning fatigue. Or if your cortisol level, like, instead of going this way, I went this way. Instead of going this way, it's going this way, where it's low in the morning and high at night, you're going to wake up tired and you're going to be wired before you go to bed. That's a sign that you are in a state of distress. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. There are other factors that go into this, of course, but it is a sign. And when you combine a bunch of signs, it's pointing you in a couple directions. If you're constantly having cravings for sugar, for caffeine, these are not just habits that we have. They're biofeedback. Sugar and caffeine give us dopamine. Dopamine is our brain's chemical for, hey, you did a good job. It's your reward system. When your cortisol is high and your energy is low, dopamine comes in. We crave the dopamine because we want that short burst of pleasure, that short burst of focus. And then what happens is the sugar gives us this little burst. And then we come crashing down and we go, give me. I need some more sugar. Another indicator, irritability, low patience. Glad to see you here. Appreciate you guys coming, taking time out of your day to come listen to me ramble about stress. Hopefully it's helping you out. Cortisol heightens our sensitivity in our amygdala. The amygdala is our brain's emotional alarm system, if you will. And when cortisol is high, your brain tends to overreact. Everything feels bigger than it is, even the small things. That's why those small things feel huge. I got a really good example here. Think about the dishes not being done at the end of the night. Stresses you out. Stresses me out. The little things become big things. We make a mountain out of a molehill, if you will. And so if you leave here with anything, stress isn't a villain. It's feedback. It's letting us know what's going on inside. The key is not eliminating it. It's to hone it and regulate it and use it for what we want to use it for. Because that same chemistry that is burning us out when we're in distress, it can also build us up when we're in eustress. We just have to learn how to flip it. So how do we do that? Well, you can't remove pressure. We live in a stressful world, but you can regulate how we respond to the pressure. Okay, and there's three types of stress that I kind of alluded to at the beginning. We have physical, we have mental, and we have emotional. Think physical is long hours at your desk, tight chest, tension headaches, just chronic fatigue. And how we solve this is micro movements. How we can solve this. Micro movements, breath work. Well, let's take it one at a time. Micro movements could be going for a 5-minute walk, getting down and doing some push-ups, some squats, some jumping jacks. Just a few minutes helps to alleviate stress. Breathing is breathing. Focused breathing, though, not the subconscious breathing that we're all doing and I'm doing even right now. Now I'm really focused on my breathing. Take 6 big breaths in. Do some box breathing. 4 in, hold it. 4 out, hold it. Controlled breathing, where we're getting 6 breaths per minute, it activates our vagus nerve, the nerve that's going from our brain to our gut. It's a major nerve, and it runs through our brainstem, our neck, our chest, our lungs, and ultimately down to our gut. It connects everything. It is the information highway of our body. When you stimulate it through this slow diaphragm breathing, you can switch yourself from that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system, into the rest and relax, the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, you can't just think your way out of stress. I don't need to be stressed. But you can breathe your way out of it. You can move your way out of it. Mental stress. Think 47 open tabs on your Chrome, on your internet browser. Thousands of emails, bills piling up, errands you need to do, to-do list that seems to never end. This is cognitive clutter. It overwhelms our prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is the brain's CEO. Right behind your forehead. The prefrontal cortex is focus, planning. It's your decision making. Meanwhile, that chronic stress has overactivated your amygdala, and you're losing control. You're irrational. You're over emotional. So what can we do? If you followed for any period of time, journaling. Journal about it. Brain dump everything that is running patterns in your head. Clear the tabs on your Chrome. Unsubscribe to 5 emails a day that are just cluttering your inbox. If you haven't read them, you don't need them. But they're causing you stress. So unload that stress. Unload those thoughts onto a piece of paper. Chicago University did a study 10, 15 years ago that found when students wrote down their worries before a test, they tended to perform better. because getting rid of those worries freed up their brain's working memory, their RAM. And so they ended up doing better on the test. When you write things down, your brain doesn't have to hold it anymore. And so you can reclaim your power. And then we have emotional. And if you have any questions, I just have been flying by here, drop them in the chat. Emotional is conflict in your relationships. You think your spouse, your friends, your children. It's feeling unappreciated. These activate your emotional stress circuits, and emotional stress often drains you more than physical stress. Physical stress we can kind of just like get out. But emotional stress tends to just wear on us. So what can we do is ground ourselves in gratitude. Again, go to your journal. Write down 3 to 5 things every day that you're grateful for. And while you're doing it, I don't know if you can hear that, but breathe. Ask, what's actually true right now? And answer it honestly. Gratitude increases serotonin, it reduces cortisol. It shifts your nervous system from that fear back into relaxed, back into perspective. Gratitude isn't denial, it's a calibration. Stress is not inevitable. I think you know that. But it doesn't have to turn into suffering. Suffering is optional because when we know how to identify our stress and we know how to alleviate our stress, it's on us. So when you start seeing stress as information instead of negative identity, you can become unstoppable. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. You're not supposed to live with stress. You're not supposed to live without stress. Again, stress is good. It helps us grow. You're supposed to grow with the stress. Remember, like, diamonds come from pressure, but only when the pressure is balanced and it has time to recover. So this week, whenever you're feeling stressed physically, emotionally, mentally, ask yourself, is this fuel? Is this eustress? Or is this fire? Distress. Track your signals this week, your physical, your mental, your emotional. Put them in your journal. When they hit, use one of those tips. Breathe, move, write. And at the end of each day, as a little journaling prompt, what did stress teach me today? And you can do that in all 3 areas if you want, or you could just focus on one. This is the one that I'm feeling the most right now. It's the mental stress. What did my mental stress teach me today? I appreciate y'all being here, live and in the future. Stress doesn't define you, it refines you. Stress doesn't define you, it refines you if you're using it correctly. Until next week, or before then, whatever comes first. Later, y'all.